First of all, I think it's a little bit rude that these companies are allowed to add completely different scenes to their music videos without affecting the views, and yet those very same companies give me illegal false copyright claims. But not my circus! Hi, welcome to my totally legit news show. My name is Angelina, and today is basically our little time on Sundays where we do a little bit of a recap of all the news throughout the week. Maybe talk some shit, get some of your guys' feedback as well. And in this video, we're going to be talking about fans' backlash towards YG's decision to delete Jennie Nurse scene in BLACKPINK's Lovesick Girls music video, Lizzie from Orange Caramel commenting on some similarities between Orange Caramel's concepts and ChoCoMe's concepts, as well as NCT facing backlash for accusations of cultural appropriation, notably in Misfit's video and teaser for Make-A-Wish. So if you're interested in this type of content, please only like and comment on this video. You can also leave a dislike. I'm not too picky. But you guys are still not allowed to subscribe. I see you guys. We're almost at 152,000 subscribers. That is a whole 2,000 people who aren't listening to me. But you know what? Maybe if you follow my instructions, the YouTube algorithm gods will let us meet again. Or you can follow me on Instagram for updates, or on my second channel where I uploaded a music video for Pretty Savage. By the way, if you would like to skip to a specific segment, a specific news show, and you don't want to watch the whole thing, even though it messes with my watch time, this video is separated into super fancy segments, so you can click through the time bar and pick where you'd like to start. So actually, let's start with Lovesick Girls' music video and their new scene that replaced Jennie Nurse scene. First of all, I think it's a little bit rude that these companies are allowed to add completely different scenes to their music videos without affecting the views, and yet those very same companies give me illegal false copyright claims. But not my circus! So as I'm sure we've all heard by now, Jennie Nurse scene in Lovesick Girls received a lot of backlash. Like, it received so much backlash to the extent that the Health and Medical Workers Union of Korea even got involved. I'm going to recap the situation in its entirety because a lot has happened since my last video. And I do need to preface this by saying that I'm not a nurse, nor am I a nurse in Korea. And likely the demographic that is watching this video probably isn't either. And I'm always an advocate of questioning everything, starting conversations around things that matter the most to us. So I just ask we bring a certain level of understanding to this. Okay, so basically nurses in Korea took issue with Jennie's portrayal of a nurse in this music video, expressing that this was an inaccurate representation of nurses, an outfit that is typically used for sexual appeal, and going on to say, despite nurses being healthcare laborers and medical professionals, the fact that there are more women than men in this profession exposes us to this objectification and forces us to deal with belittling depictions that questions our expertise. And given how big the music video for Lovesick Girls is and how mainstream it has become, they feel that it could actually make things worse for them in the front lines. So surprisingly, YG actually let out a response to this. First and foremost, we would like to relay our deep respect once again to the professional nurses who are fighting on the front lines, always watching over patients on site. Next, the track Lovesick Girls asks the question of why people look for love even after being hurt by it and even suffering from it, and also relays a message of hope in the exploration of this idea of love. I have the answer to that question, but I digress. The scene in the Lovesick Girls music video depicting a nurse and a patient portrays the lyrics which read, "No doctor could help when I'm lovesick." The scene intended no other purpose, and we feel concerned that this scene has fallen under exaggerated scrutiny. We ask audiences to view this music video as another genre of independent art, and we would be grateful if audiences could understand that each scene visually portrays the lyrics in the music video with no further meanings behind it. Nonetheless, the MV production staff is currently deeply considering the editing of the scene in question. And so it seemed that YG was somewhat standing their ground, kind of asking people to understand, but then also ending off with, we're considering editing this scene in particular. And a lot of conversation that I saw surrounding this was people saying that the old CEO never would have done this, that, old YG, the man himself would have just stood his ground, wouldn't have even paid attention to comments like this, and that the new CEO is a little too soft. But honestly, I don't think that's the case at all. Literally, YG released a statement when CL went on stage with a parrot during a live performance, and animal activists were like, that's not cool. Old YG released a statement for that, so I don't think it's completely out of character for the company to do this as well. And frankly, with the Health and Medical Workers Union of Korea getting involved, of course, this is a lot bigger than any of us really thought it would be. Because of course, a lot of international fans are very upset about this, very much leaning on the fact that there's nothing wrong with the outfit, pointing to other instances in pop culture, in K-pop music videos, where nurse outfits were being used, even male idols portraying similar professions and, quote unquote, those professions, and ultimately not agreeing that what you wear should be a focal point in a conversation surrounding a. And again, I think it's really healthy to question things, to have conversations surrounding things, but a lot of the conversation did get very toxic, specifically towards the nurses who brought this up, and I think that's really disgusting. A lot of people bringing up Blackpink's Pretty Savage lyrics, where they say, we wore the same thing, but I looked better than you, kind of implying that Jennie looks better than these nurses, and therefore the nurses are just jealous. And honestly, within my own comment section, I've read a lot of comments that kind of go along those lines, that are just very disgusting, to be honest with you. And ultimately, YG decided to edit out the scene, replacing it with kind of what seems to be recycled scenes of the patient, the lovesick patient scene. And in regards to that, they said, "We have ultimately decided to delete all scenes involving the nurse outfit in Blackpink's Lovesick Girls music video. And we plan on replacing the music video with the edited version as soon as possible. We will take this opportunity to deeply reflect on the heavy responsibilities laid out before us through this issue, caused due to the fact that we were unable to predict the rise of such a controversy within the length of the music video's production, as there was no external intention whatsoever. We would like to deeply apologize to nurses who felt discomfort from this issue, and once again, we deliver our sincerest feelings of respect towards all healthcare workers devoting themselves to the well-being of our nation. Thank you." So again, for a lot of international fans, the conversation is very much along the lines of, YG shouldn't have done that. I really loved that scene. People re-uploading the scene onto YouTube. And overall, just a lot of people really angry that YG would apologize for this because they personally don't see an issue. However, there are also a lot of people who understand the severity of this and kind of respect YG for protecting Jennie that way, because something like this could have very much had an impact on their careers in a negative way. Some people saying, like, at the end of the day, I'm really happy that they finally did something to protect their idols. As for the Health and Medical Workers Union, they have since shown their support for this decision, expressing they're essentially rooting for Blackpink as global stars and saying, "We hope that Blackpink's decision not only helps nurses, but serves as a warning bell for the objectification of certain professions that exists in this society." However, there are still some people who are calling out the scene regardless without the nurse outfit for its ableism, claiming that Jennie is painting people with mental illness in a bad light within this scene. But yeah, that is basically a recap of this story. If there's anything else that comes up, I will cover it next week. Okay, so now let's move on to a little segment I like to call Kpop Shenanigans, which is basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop throughout the week. Please remember, if you want to suggest some K-pop shenanigans or you want to suggest a topic that I could cover in a news video, you can DM me on Instagram. So first up, we have 17, who are having a comeback on October 19th. And we also have ITZY, who released a music video featuring their fans for Be In Love. By the way, I did a listening party over on my second channel, which you should go check out after you're done watching this video. Just because you're not allowed to subscribe doesn't mean it gives you free range to with my watch time. Dawn has released his comeback with Don Diddy Don, which features Jessie. And also, I have a little question because the title in English is a little bit different from the title in Korean. And I don't know why. Like, in Korean, it's Don Diddy Don, but in English, it's Don Diddy Don. Why? But I digress. I did want to point out that within the song, both Dawn and Jessie reference the bubble pop icon herself, Hyuna. And I love that so much, but you guys are going to have to wait till my end of the month review. But, spoiler alert, the G-Dragon vibes were so strong. We also have Ace, who covered Blackpink's How You Like That. It was such a beautiful cover. And I don't know if anyone else was expecting this, but when, Lisa's bada bing bada boom, when that part was coming up, I was expecting them to kind of melodically say, bada bing bada boom boom boom. Anyone else, it was still a beautiful cover regardless. We also have Signature, who covered Shiny's View. And lastly, we have NCT U, who have released a track video for Misfit. And on that note, we can actually move on to my segment called Things I Found on Stan Twitter, which I renamed for this episode in particular given the specific content. So for this video in particular, the NCT Misfits track video, I've seen a lot of people call out member Jennie for wearing what they have expressed is a do-rag, which can obviously be seen in the music video itself, but also in the teaser photos as well. And more recently, we have also seen the teasers for Make-A-Wish, which is also by NCT, make quite a buzz on Twitter as well, and a flood of dialogue surrounding them in regards to cultural appropriation. So for context, it does seem that SM has gone for a concept kind of along the lines of Aladdin, especially with a title like Make-A-Wish. And the first thing that was brought up was the background for these photos in particular. Some people have expressed that this imagery portrays a mosque or that they are posing directly in front of a mosque and using it as an aesthetic, which they have also expressed would be quite problematic. However, there are also people counteracting this by saying it's simply Islamic architecture and doesn't necessarily depict a mosque. And overall, there are other elements being pointed out as well, such as the scarf on Taehyung's head, among other things. Some people, of course, joking about them, some people a little bit more serious about them, but so far, this is basically what I've seen brought up on Twitter. And as of now, SM has not released any statements in regards to this. But I would definitely love to know what you guys think, so feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some second gen K-pop, because that's honestly something I never ever touch on in this channel, so forgive me for my lack of knowledge. Everyone's at home like, what is she on? So Lizzie from Orange Caramel recently got into a little bit of trouble for comparing ChoCoMe's concept to Orange Caramel's concepts. So if you don't remember, last week I said that WJSN's new subunit is called ChoCoMe, and they are going to come out with a song called Humph. And I did express my excitement for this subunit because it reminded me so much of second gen, and I love cute concepts that are so cute that make you want to cringe. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the pictures, of course I thought of Orange Caramel. I thought of the bows are very similar, like the kind of flow of the dresses are very similar. This colorful nature is very similar, and then watching the music video, of course, the quirkiness is off the charts, super similar to Orange Caramel. You know, Orange Caramel were very much known for being kind of outside of the box, very quirky, very cute, very much like the furthest thing away from girl crush that you could ever have. And of course, these are very similar elements to ChoCoMe's concept. Now, Orange Caramel weren't necessarily the only group to ever do this. I mean, we did have Crayon Pop, but I feel like they were quirky in a different way. People say that Gangnam Style really went viral, but do you guys not remember how big Crayon Pop Bar 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 was? Am I just making this up in my head? I feel like it was pretty big too. Here's second gen things. I had people who weren't K-pop fans telling me about this song. So back then, that was like a huge thing. Like, oh my god, you know K-pop? Do you want to be my friend? Having anyone know about K-pop was like, maybe should we add each other on Facebook or something? But these days, it's like, you want to stay away from those people. Digressing. So it seems that Lizzie from After School, who was part of the Orange Caramel subunit, posted this to her Instagram. And it basically shows support for ChoCoMe, but it seems a little bit shady at the same time. So she posted this photo with text saying, I hope that WJSN will go beyond what Orange Caramel has, then shows her support for their title song, basically encouraging it. But then goes on to say that there are concept similarities between the music video for ChoCoMe's song and Orange Caramel's music videos essentially, and ultimately ends up saying Reina, Nana, and Lizzie are the best. So apparently she received a lot of backlash for saying this, and she ended up deleting the post. Later going on to clarify that she really was sincere when she was encouraging them. As for my thoughts, I mean, of course there are similarities. There are so many similarities. It definitely screams Orange Caramel, but I think that's because Orange Caramel were very original with their concepts. Not that these concepts have never been done before ever in the history of time, but you know, within the context of K-pop, it definitely wasn't the most common thing to see. And having been a part of Orange Caramel, of course, I think she recognizes certain elements, and as I've mentioned before, when people recognize their own art within something else and see similarities, I think that is definitely valid. Honestly, I don't know how I would react in her place. I think I would feel a certain way as well. As a fan, I'm like, yes, I love this type of concept, but if you were really known for that concept, I can imagine you would feel a certain way. So definitely let me know if you haven't seen any of Orange Caramel's music videos. Go check them out, then watch ChoCoMe's music video and tell me, do you see the similarities? Do you think it's a little bit of a stretch? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so that is basically it for this video. Thank you so much for making it to this point. My watch time thanks you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. You can go subscribe to my second channel. Follow me on Instagram. You can also join my channel memberships by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button so you could get little sneak peeks. You could get a cool Kevin emoji next to your name and even potentially see videos earlier than everyone else depending on which level you're on. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. Thank you so much. As for me, I'm gonna get going, but by the way, if if you love Kevin, I was thinking of one day, I don't know what day, to do like a live fan meeting with Kevin, which is basically just gonna be me live streaming with my dog. Anyways, that is it for me, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!